Today we are comparing the Ping i240 against the Ping i530. Two clubs that sit within the Ping product range. If you are a big fan of Ping and you're not too sure which one that might be best suited to you, then today's video is just for you. So as we know, Ping i240 just being released. The i530 has been out about a year or so. Both are aimed definitely a better golfer, certainly mid to low handicap golfers. And it really is about, deciding which one is best for you. So in terms of the kind of initial looks, well, actual overall footprint looks quite similar, but we can see definitely the i530 is stronger. It's almost a club stronger at 29 degrees compared to 33 degrees. So we need to understand that concept before we look at the ball speed and the distances at the end. So we know i530 is going to be certainly longer. Interesting differences in terms of the tech. So we've got a cast head in the i240, even though that is designed for your better golfer. But then we've got a forged head in the i530, so quite different materials used. And then in terms of the face, now one big difference is the big torque with the 530 was the micromax grooves. The torque with the i240 was more about actually wider grooves to get more spin off the fairway. This was more about controlling the flyers, the i530. So quite different stories behind the two. Let's hit a few. Let's give you my opinion. Let's take a look at the data at the end. We're going to start off with the i240. And I'd say the i230 was a great product. It looked good. It performed well, certainly for your better golfers. Initial testing with this i240 has been good. Certainly doesn't claim to be long. It's more about controlling spin, controlling the distance. Okay, so really trying to blend like a tour player's look, if you like, but then they've added this cavity element to give you that level of forgiveness as well. And from a feel standpoint, what they've done is they've got this elastomer insert in the back of the head, quite low down in the cavity there. That's to help with the feel. Okay, and I have found that hitting it early on and testing it, that although it's a cast head, it generally feels quite good. Yeah, that's good. And I am seeing that. You look at that spin number there, 7,400. Granted, it was a bit off the bottom, but the spin number is quite high. That felt good. Yeah, nice. So I think, you see there, carrying 155, finishing 160. So that's landing and stopping. That's a great land angle there of nearly 50 degrees. If your focus is on holding greens, this could be a good option. Yeah, it feels nice, despite it not being a forged face, it feels really solid, nice and easy to hit. Getting in that sort of playing position there. It's not too small, I'd be quite confident if you're a 10 handicap or below. I think you'd be fine if your ball striking's okay. It's certainly not too small. Just a hair off the bottom, but still getting that carry at 161. So there is a level of forgiveness there. Yeah. Feels really solid. I like it. Yeah, really good. I think if you've got a club head speed above 80, I think this would suit you nicely. I think if you're under 80, you might not get the distance out of it. That's my only concern. Yeah, good again. But there's definitely some good level of consistency from a spin number point of view, which is crucial, isn't it, with the iron play. Ball speed is pretty low. Okay, let's just try one more. Yeah, so overall, guys, it feels good. It looks really nice and premium. Is it an upgrade on the i230? Probably quite similar, really. Looks are a bit different, but it does look very sort of Ping-like. But it feels great. I do think it'll sell really well to a better golfer. Overall, as I said, just making sure you've got enough speed to get the distance out of it. Quick break. If you're enjoying this video and want to take your game to the next level, I've put together a short, practical ebook to help you find the right golf clubs for you, based on your swing, budget, and skill level. Whether you're a beginner or upgrading after years on the course. You can grab it right now using the link in the description below. It'll save you time, money, and frustration. As a bonus, I'm offering a free online lesson when you buy the ebook. Back to the video. Okay, so moving into this i530, very much a player's distance iron. Okay, so yes, they've got the forged face, but it is more about distance. So think about your own game. Do you need more length? I think this will be a better option for you. If you need to if you've got the speed, your ball striking is pretty good, then holding greens and getting that distance control, the i240 might be better. But let's hit a few shots. As I said, it's 4 degrees stronger, so we know, you know, the ball speed is going to be more, the spin is going to be lower, the distance is going to be more. But let's give you my feeling. Again, looking down at that, I think footprint probably slightly bigger than that i240, but it's funny how the story is so different in terms of micromax grooves, 4 extra grooves on this face compared to the i240, which is actually wider grooves. Okay, so that's maybe a little kind of confusing really from Ping there. Yeah, I mean, straight away there, you can hear it, can't you? It's definitely more of a hollow sound coming off the face. And this iron has been popular, you know, since it was released about a year or so ago. You know, a lot of golfers at my club like mid to high single figures. It's been really good for. They've certainly gained a lot of yardage, a bit more forgiveness. But yeah, it's nice to hit. Doesn't, despite it being forged, it doesn't actually feel as soft as the i240. But equally, seems to be performing well. You know, clearly more ball speed, lower spin, more distance, more so because of the loft than anything. Yeah, nice. But yeah, seem to be hitting it pretty straight as well, which is nice. Yeah, it was a nice shot. Felt good. Just that low spin is a concern for me. It definitely wouldn't suit my game, purely because that spin's too low. It's not going to hold the greens. Now, we could argue a fairer test would be comparing the 8 iron of the i530 against the 7 iron of the 240. But I think it's good for you to really understand the bog standard 7 iron. You can work off that then in terms of, you know, what's best for your game, because, you know, for me, accuracy is more important, but for you watching, you might think, well, actually need a bit more length, but you want that kind of, you want the feel still. Yeah, so 8 shots with each club there. It's quite a small sample size, but I felt like I hit them all quite solid. Enjoyed hitting them both. I think I preferred the feel of the 240 definitely, but let's take a look initially at that dispersion. Okay, so dispersion rings here, hit them both pretty good. There's an obvious difference in distance as we expect. You'd probably say the 240 is a slightly smaller circle, but not a lot in it really. You know, not a lot in it. I mean, you take out that bottom right one on the i240, it would be really tight. But again, 530 is good as well, isn't it? You know, so dispersion is still pretty decent with both, but i240 just edges it from the dispersion point of view. And then just looking at some of the key numbers here, guys, 530 at the top, 240 at the bottom. So you can see club speed was identical, about 85, 86. Big difference in ball speed, you know, 119 to 113. Launch angle a bit higher with the 240, as you would expect. You know, with obviously the more traditional loft with the 240. Overall height similar, which is quite interesting. So the 530 is still reaching a peak height similar. Big difference in the spin there, isn't it? Which for me is going to be crucial. 5,000 compared to 6.5. So that land angle you can see much steeper, 48 degrees with the 240, 48.5 compared to 45.9. The big consideration is distance. For me, not important, but for you guys watching might be, you know, 156 for 162 with the 240, 173 for 183. So it's a good 20 yards further, isn't it, that 530? Side is actually quite similar, but 2 irons that sit there within that ping range that are very different in terms of the kind of characteristics. For me, for dispersion and for better spin rate and kind of stopping power, the 240 is definitely better for my game. But you know, again, you look at that 530, still feels pretty good. It's quite long, but the dispersion is still pretty good for a long iron as well. So think about what best suits your game, and definitely 2 good irons within that ping range to try out. Remember guys, if this is your first time watching the channel, please don't hesitate to subscribe. We post 2 weekly videos, largely on club reviews and coaching to help you with your game.